Now for our Saves event. And I can tell you what an honor, a privilege, and a joy to welcome all the Saves and the whole company and SAFARILAND and the people that are really some of the most important people in my life. To be brief and to the point, directed to our Saves, I thought here on stage, I'm gonna skip that line, to your partners, your commanders, your families. Some of them are here, some of them are not here. I gotta tell you, you placed your trust in our company. At some point, you had to make a decision. You placed your trust in us. And I'm so happy to say that we delivered because you're here. That probably hit me about as hard as it can hit someone. It was light and fun last night at dinner, and I was just getting to know Kevin, and he left. I was like, where'd Kevin go? And he was gone for a while. I was like, that's an exceptionally long time to go to the bathroom. He was out talking to his son, and that's when it struck me that that little boy would have been fatherless had it not been for our armor and your quick reactions and quick thinking. That is really what it's all about, and that's kind of an amazing game changer. A lot of people say Hardwire is an armor company. I say we're a trust company. And even better said, I think that armor is materialized trust. Because you trusted us, we trust but verify, trust me. Every single material that comes in here, that gets built here, it goes through exorbitant amounts of testing. And you'll see after lunch, we are kitting out roughly 1,000 officers custom a week and about 4,500 Army people a week, or Marine Corps people, or SOCOM people a week on these other automated lines. So we are all about putting more armor, catching more bullets. As lead's flying down range, we're the guys that can stop it. We all have special people in our lives, and I think probably the #1 reason that I might be a little nervous right now, which I don't get nervous in front of people, is that the people that matter the most to me are in this room. And I gotta tell you, those people range from my best friend from middle school, who's also one of the investors here, our management team, our engineering teams, our associates, every single one of you guys. There's a story that goes along with you. I remember Shane, you said, we need a machine. When was that? That was like 2004. We need a machine. That drove us to really big machines. That was the inception. We were like, let's automate everything, let's mechanize it, let's go industrial, let's go big or go home, let's do something that matters, let's move the needle. Having, of course, the Saves here is huge, and SAFARILAND, I can tell you that in the LE armor space, the law enforcement armor space, we would not be where we are unless Todd Mackler walked in this building, and I remember him walking over to the stairs, and he said, this is game changing, and we want to be your distributor. We want to be your partner in this space. We have learned an enormous amount from you guys, and it is wonderful to have you out there representing us. It's so, so important. Otherwise, we're in Pocomoke. Good luck finding us. Like, if you don't find us on the internet, or ChatGPT 7 doesn't find us, without you guys, we would not have the business we have today. I can tell you that this team has suffered through countless failures. We're really good at it. We're fast. And we do it as a way of doing business. So we are looking for the failures so that when it gets to you, it will never fail. That's so important. And it's so important today to have you here to connect. You know, you look at our folks, and we've been together roughly 20 years. Most of the employees have been here. They're lifers. You don't leave. We call it the Hotel California. You can check in, but you can never leave. But we've never been able to connect, and I've seen it a little bit. We've been briefed on some stuff from the military, but we've never had real Saves in our facility with the people that built the armor. It's never happened. So I am just absolutely thrilled and honored that you guys would do this here today. You know, what's amazing is we've put hundreds of thousands of rounds downrange now. We've blown up trucks 20 at a time. We've done amazing things, and we have armor in the war zones, in cities, in countries, in schools. We just got a call yesterday to put armor into the new fight that is evolving in the South China Sea. Stuff's going on worldwide, and this company will play a significant role in it. And I can tell you that I really believe true teamwork, which is what this has been, and you know, now we have more people woven into our fabric. True teamwork and true team players are really defined when things go wrong. It's not about when things are going right, that's easy. It's the instant that things go sideways. And for our saves, hearing some of the stories last night, I can't wait to hear more of them, they went sideways. And it was an instant in time that we were able to stop a bullet and save a life. That's kind of amazing. So hopefully we can be your game changers from here on out. Hopefully you come to Ocean City often. We talked about lots of rides on the tank boat. We will arrange that. You know, my little daughter's here today, Ellie, and I have 4 kids, and she's definitely one of my favorites because the other 3 are not here right now to hear that. But we asked her, we put shields in her school, post-Uvalde. We put a lot of shields in a lot of schools. And I asked her, we both asked her, like, how do you feel about this? And we were expecting, like, oh, I feel safer, mom and dad, or I feel this, or I feel that. She's like, I feel proud. And I can tell you those words, like, God, they were so meaningful because you couple that with your phone call last night to your son and some of the stories you told me today. I'm like, look, as a guy or as a lady, we're fine. What we really care about are our kids. Our kryptonite is our kids. And that's what we bring you home to, is your children and your families and your lives, and it is not your time. God sent you guys back. We got to play a role in that, and you're not done with whatever your mission is. And I'm not done with mine either. And Ellie's next in line, behind Grace, or Ellen, or both of them, who knows. So today, you know, I know you're probably sick of hearing me talk at this point. I really want to say thank you. We want to hear your words. And I got to tell you, you know, people are like, oh, isn't it great having your own company? You don't have a boss. Monty Saylor's here. He's the bank. He's sort of the boss. We got to report to him regularly, make sure we don't screw that up. But really, you're our boss. You're who we work for. You're the guys that are teaching us how to clear rooms. You're teaching us about where our armor's used, how's it used, how does it feel, how can we make it better, faster, how can we make it lighter? A bunch of guys picked up shields upstairs. They're like, still too heavy. It's like, okay, let's get to work on that. We're always going to do and work for our boss. And my bosses are sitting right there. They're from Philadelphia and South Carolina right now. And of course, my wife, who's really my boss. With that, I can just say thank you for all coming. Ed, I'd like to turn it over to you, and we'll get going.
How's everybody doing today? Yeah? Yeah, we feeling it? All right. Thank you for letting me follow George on stage. Always a joy. I'm going to try and do my best here, so let me see what I can do. I often tell my boss that I have the best job in the company. I run the saves program. So when a hero is okay, they've gone through a critical incident, and a commander, a captain, an inspector picks up the phone and they call SAFARILAND, that phone call gets directed to me. And we find out he's okay or she's okay. And then I get to work with the save and reach out to our company and let everybody know we brought another one home. Okay, and that comes through partnerships. Things like we're doing today with Hardwire. And we've been running the saves program at SAFARILAND since the mid-'70s, before a lot of you were born. That's okay, that's a good thing. There are currently a little over 3,000 saves in the entire industry. 2,164 of those are ours. So it's great to be, yeah. Every save's a great save. Every time a hero comes home and doesn't end up on that wall in Judiciary Square on May 15th of every year, that's a phenomenal event. I'm going to cut back to George here for a minute. We did a saves presentation at SHOT Show when Todd Mackler brought, the whole Hardwire family in and showed us the original materials. And most of us who were prior law enforcement goes, get me on a range. I need to shoot this first. We need to talk. But we did a saves presentation there. We had 3 heroes on stage. And I came off stage, and Neil Perkins was waiting for me, Todd Mackler was waiting, Scott O'Brien was waiting, and George Tunis was waiting. When I was done doing the initial 3, George literally backed me into a corner and said, Hardwire saves. We're gonna have a day when those are Hardwire saves. And he was very intense. I've seen that look more than once just this week. And I told him, it's gonna happen, that's today. That's going on right now. So we're gonna introduce to you 3 heroes. And they're going to tell you their stories, and they're going to get right down to it. And they're going to get deep, and it can get emotional, and that's okay, because the difference, again, if you hadn't done such an absolutely phenomenal job, innovative, game-changing, everything Todd said, they're not here with us. We got to go to Philadelphia PD. They're up against it. I got to talk with the inspector. Just to give you an idea what they're up against, they did 600 high-risk warrants last year. In one 16-hour period, just a couple of weeks ago, they had 3 barricaded events in a 16-hour period. So we got to work with Don MURDOCH, and his story is incredible. We got to go in, meet at their FOP hall, have his family around us. His son's here today, and he told us what went on. So we're going to start with Don, since he's already a member of the Saves Club. Don, please, come on up. Let's hear it.
Hello, good morning. I'll start off with a quick background. My name is Don MURDOCH. I am a Philadelphia police officer. I have been, in August, will be 23 years. 15 of those years, I've been fortunate enough to be a member of the SWAT unit, full-time SWAT unit. We serve, like you said, we serve a lot of warrants. February 11th, 2022, I was part of, like, it was probably a 17 or an 18-man team to serve a warrant on a 3rd-story property. It was an apartment on the 3rd floor. So many people because we had to secure the rest of the building also. I was first in with the shield, open the door, go up 2 flights of steps, straight up, door was right in front of us. As we go up the steps, information, which is never right, was the door was going to be open. Of course, when we get there, it's locked. It's a very narrow hallway. My partner was behind me. He had a breaching shotgun. I tried the doorknob. It was locked, so he had to try to squeeze by me to breach the door. Couldn't fit. So I had the shield on the door. He can't fit by. I have to turn my body completely sideways. So I'm standing this way as he's breaching the door. As he's breaching the door, I hear 2 pops, sound like gunfire. And I'm thinking in my head, he must be shooting out the window at people, you know, the front and rear containment. On the 3rd pop, I felt like a quick, it felt like somebody just smacked me in the chest. I felt a little bit of a sting, traveled out, and then it was gone. I'm standing in the hallway and I'm thinking, did I just get shot? Like, that's what I think. And we had gas masks on because it was supposed to be a lab inside. So I couldn't look down. So I looked right in front of me, I could see a hole in the wall. I look off to my side and I can see drywall dust all over my shoulder. At the same time, I look at my partner and he's like, are you hit? I just nod my head. He grabs me and lifts me down the steps. So we go down 2 flights of steps. So a little bit of background. In March of 2020, so we lost someone. Good friend of ours and colleague, and he was one of my supervisors. Same deal. He's going up the steps, guy shoots through a door on the side. It just happened to hit him that much above his vest, under his arm. So, I mean, I'm at the hospital, I feel fine. I really didn't even feel like I got shot because I didn't have a mark on me. His wife comes, and his wife's there, and who I'm very good friends with, and she says, you know, Jimmy was with you. That's why your body was turned sideways. So, you know, there's a lot of people think shit happens for a reason, you know, and there was a reason that I turned sideways. But the fact of the matter is, I still got shot. And whether I was turned sideways or the other way, the bullet was only stopped by the Hardwire plate. You know what I mean? So even though I was fortunate enough to be turned that way, I'm a firearms instructor, and I teach thousands and thousands of hours. I've taught people, this is where you shoot. This is where you end the threat. Upper thoracic cavity, we call it. This is where all the good stuff is. Well, I got hit right there, and it was a blind shot through a wall. So it was total luck, but I'm here standing here talking to you guys today because of what you do. So I want to thank you. You know, people thank police all the time, thank you for what you do. I wouldn't be standing here talking to you right now if it wasn't for you guys. All right?
Thank you.
Starting to get the message. It's not just that officer. It's the ones that came before him. It's the ones that are going to come after him. It's the pay it forward part of what we're doing. We're making sure you understand why it's so tight here on the floor, why it's so important that it's right every single time, because you don't know who's going to wear it and who's going to need it really suddenly. We're going to stay in Philadelphia, and I'm going to introduce Thomas Fitzpatrick. Goes by TJ. He's trying to push his inspector up here. Again, this is Philadelphia PD.
Hey, what's up? Sorry, for your ears. My name's TJ Fitzpatrick, Philadelphia Police Department. I've been in the Philadelphia Police Department in my 28th year. I've been fortunate enough to be in a SWAT unit for 20 years. Like Donnie said, we lost someone in 2020. I was on that job and it was a tough one. So, October,
It's all good then.
October 12th of 2022, I was part of a 15-man team going to serve an arrest warrant for a murder suspect. I was supposed to be third floor, second person to the third floor. As we breached the door, the defendant starts firing on us from inside the living room. Immediately, the two breachers go down. They're both hit. One's hit in the hip and one's hit in the leg, below their body armor. I get hit in my upper chest area right here. It did leave a mark. I get hit. I feel I get hit. My partner, who was in front of me, actually pulled me back off the X, and he starts ripping my vest off and checking me. He tells me there's no holes, there's no blood, you're good. I'm like, I'm good? He goes, you're good. I was like, okay, let's go. I put the vest back on, I grab my rifle, and I'm like, let's go. And a lieutenant steps out of line, he says, you gotta go to the hospital. I said, no, we gotta go get this guy. He goes, no, you're going to the hospital. I said, no, Lieutenant, we gotta go get this guy. And he physically takes me and puts me in a police car. And the other two guys are already on the way to the hospital. And then I get in a police car and I'm on the way to the hospital. But I'm good. So what does Mr. Good do? He calls his wife and says, I'm good, I'm on the way to the hospital. Her response was, who's hit, who's down? I say, I'm good, I'm on the way to the hospital. Hang the phone up, and then everybody shows up. And my oldest, who's 23 years old, who can't stand affection, hates hugs from everybody, comes into the hospital trauma room, and she jumps on my bed and she gives me a hug. And at that moment, I knew that I'm here because of someone here. Someone here saved me that day. Thank you very much. Love you all.
All righty. That's it. That's exactly what that is. We're starting to get a little more feel of the fact that this is not just 2,164 folks that you guys saved. This is families. This is a wife, a son. This is everybody they came home to. For the agency commanders that are all here, they went back to their agencies, their staff, Everybody's wearing the same uniform, the same patch on the sleeve. They're going home to their families, and they're going right back out the door to do this job. So we were up north a little ways. We were in Philly. Let's go down south a little bit. Let's go to Aiken County. Sergeant Creed, come on up, man.
Good afternoon. Like Ed said, my name's Sergeant Kevin Creed.
One step closer.
One step forward. Better. It's like Ed said, my name's Sergeant Kevin Creed. I'm from Aiken, South Carolina. Got 22 years and some change on the job. Just to be honest with you, we switched to Hardwire about 2 years ago, 2-ish years ago. And as I was putting the panels in my vest, I was kind of scratching my head and I was kind of unsure. It was different. Being used to the older technology, I was unsure. Fast forward to a little bit to October the 28th of last year. Just another day on the job. Get a text from my lieutenant, Lieutenant Jason Todd. She stand up, please. This is my lieutenant at work. Phenomenal guy. I mean, you won't find a better supervisor, and I'm not just saying that because he's here. So fast forward to October 28th last year, get a text from my lieutenant. Hey guys, we got an assist, Richmond County Sheriff's Office, which is located in Georgia. They got a possible location on a murder suspect. Okay, boss. We meet up, get a 6-man team together, we go, get to the location, we try calling him out. Nothing. We make the decision, we're gonna have to go in. We get a SHIELD team together, start making our way to the door, go in, clear the living room, nothing. Look down the hallway, clear the hallway, nothing. We get to two back bedrooms in a single wide trailer, the doors are shut. So we're figuring he's in there. So the first SHIELD team moves up to hold on them 2 doors. And I'm checking the middle bedroom and I can see about 90% of the bedroom was clear. So I decided to go ahead and make entry. I did, and I didn't see anything. The closet door was open. I could see there was nothing in the closet, but the door was open and it created a gap in between the wall. So I took my foot and I kicked the door and took about 2-3 steps back. And that's when it went 0 to 5,000 miles an hour. A young 16-year-old kid come out from behind the door and basically started unleashing hell on me. I was hit twice. I was struck in my arm, and at that time I knew I was hit somewhere else. So I called out to my teammates. I'm hit, and I was trying to get out, find cover, regroup, and re-engage. My partner pulled me the rest of the way out of the door frame and started returning fire. I went into the living room, got on my knees, and I'm self-checking, make sure there's nothing that I need to do, tourniquet, whatever. And the decision's made to retreat from the house, regroup, and come up with another game plan. Well, I get to the staging area and, they're ripping my vest off, they pulling up my shirt. Just looking at my head, my arm. And one of my teammates says, I found a round. Well, I glanced over and I was able to see the copper jacket of the 9mm round stuck in my throat protector. I only got emotional one time, that whole incident. I have 2 children. I have a 22-year-old son who's in the police academy now. He graduates Friday. And I have an 11-year-old. Thanks to y'all, the people who are way smarter than me, who made this stuff, I'll be able to pin my oldest son's badge on him Friday when he walks across that stage like I did. And I'm still here to do the work for my 11-year-old. I love each and every one of you. As I was taking my son to school yesterday, my youngest boy, he was asking me, he was like, well, Daddy, you know what's going to go on while you're out of town? Well, I told him, I said, well, they're going to take me to the plant where Daddy's SWAT stuff was made. He's infatuated with my SWAT gear. He says, well, Daddy, I want you to tell him all thank you from me. And I said, I'll do it. When I was talking to my wife this morning, you know, she said my little boy brought it up again, that, you know, he wanted me to thank y'all. And I was talking to Ed and I was talking to George. When I get back, he and I are going to make a video, because I don't want you to hear it from me. I want you to hear it from him. I can't thank y'all enough for everything that y'all do. I'm here because of you. And I love you and I respect you. And I appreciate all of y'all's hard work.
All right, you guys don't even need to sit down. You guys get to stand here and here. So come on over this way. Sergeant, right there. Dawn, you're going to help. You know the drill here. I'm going to need some more help up here. This is the official. I need George. I need Jerry. I need Chris. This is the official induction into the SAFARILAND Group Saves Club. It's real important for us. Really, really, really important. You'll see 2 range bags back there. We can go ahead and leave those on the table for right now. These guys are all SWAT hard chargers, alpha personalities. All of our saves, you'll find one common theme. Training and gear carried the day, okay? Now, the selection process for your agencies, you had the right guys there to start with. You had that clay to mold. You had that to happen. So kudos to you guys for that. But everyone that I got to talk to, all 3 of these guys behind me said, my training was great, man. They gave me everything I needed, and the gear was the right gear. That's you guys. That's everybody here in this room. The one thing they want to do after a critical incident is get back on a range and do what their training taught them to do in the first place, what helped bring them home. So we start you guys off with a range bag. We know that you'll put that to good use, and we appreciate that. A key part of this for us is you're not done with overtime. You're not done with details. You're not done with all that hot stuff. And neither of you guys can get out there without a hat in the summertime. So you want to grab a couple of those hats for a second there? That'll be TJ's over there. That'll be Sergeant Creed's right here. You'll see, just show the back of the hats up there. They've got save numbers on them. They've got save numbers on them. Each of those save numbers, 2153 and 2154, identify exactly what save in the continuum these guys are, okay? So you've got that good 30-ounce coffee mug up front. You've got that going for you. That's for those details. That's those hot summer days with some iced coffee in there going strong. Yeah, you can set that right behind you there. There are polo shirts, and those polo shirts have your name and save number emblazoned on the sleeve. Wear them with pride. You get them torn up in training, you call us. We'll replace them. We'll take care of all of that. Yeah, there's 2 for each of you. Don't pass those down here. If I got the sizing wrong, that's on me. You just let me know. You can go ahead and set those behind you for the moment. And you guys thought we were going to let you stand there, didn't you? Like, be part of the audience? No, I need the Philadelphia command staff up here. I need the Aiken County command staff up here. Come on up. Guys, if everybody can grab a plaque there, everybody grabs a plaque. 1 goes to me. All right. I need the guys with Officer Fitzpatrick's over on this side, please. Both of those plaques over here. You'll stay with me here. This is, of course, Jerry Pelliot is the regional director for the territories that cover a lot of this area. We're talking boots on the ground up. It starts with you right here. Every product, every time, being absolutely perfect. Alex Broder's standing out there. He works for Atlantic Tactical, which is one of our distributors. Does a phenomenal job for us. Where did he come from? He came from law enforcement. He is the save with the least amount of time on the job for when he became a save, okay? It was his first shift in a car on the 7th hour when he took a Tokarev around center chest. He works for us now. He is the one that sized saves MURDOCH and Fitzpatrick, knowing how important it is. Just like George mentioned earlier, everybody owns a chair. You don't rent it here, you own it. It's the same way at Safariland. Alex owns that position. Nobody does it better. It's phenomenal to have him here to see the results of the work he's doing in the field. But these plaques are duplicates, okay? One goes to the save and one goes to the agencies, because every one of these commanders had to go back and address supervisors, families at the hospital, the entire crew at roll call right after the critical incident, and send them back out there. The agencies go through it too for every number that's represented here. The agency officers go home to their wives. They go home to their families, and they suit up after the reports on the news of an officer shot, and they head out there. That's why there's two plaques, one for the agency and one for the save. They all read identically, so if you'll stand next to, please, Officer T.J. Fitzpatrick, if you'll stand next to the command staff, George. I'll get over this way, and I'll have you stand up here just for a moment. And where you will need to be right over there next to Chris. There we go. All right, we got everything set up right. So the save plaques read, the Safariland Group Saves Club presented in recognition and appreciation to Sergeant Kevin T. Creed and Officer Thomas Fitzpatrick. Saves number 2153 and 2154. We salute your heroic courage and valor in the line of duty. Present that. Present that. Present that. You got that from the table? All right. These coins are really hard to earn. Nobody really wants to get presented with one of these. We are currently awarding 2153 and 2154 at this moment. At the top it says Safariland. At the bottom of the rocker it says Together We Save Lives. And that together is our partnerships with incredible places like Hardwire right here. We can't do what we do if you aren't doing your job incredibly well every moment of every day. If you look at that, you'll see our Safariland emblem that heroes have chosen to put in front of them for over 50 years and to go into harm's way with them and to hold down that line. It's got our American flag in the background. It's got two spent shell casings, because we know what the threat is, in between Safariland and Together We Save Lives. On the back of this coin is the Purple Heart Medal, which law enforcement officers shot in the line of duty qualify for. It's the continuation of our American flag. It's got two crossed swords going all the way back that says, we will hold the line against evil this far, no further. It's got a male and female officer back to back, and very well represented today with these heroes behind me, a tactical team holding down the fort and bringing it home. George, if you can present the first ever Hardwire Challenge coin. Welcome to the Safariland Group Saves Club and Family. Don's got his, otherwise he's buying dinner tonight. Let's let these guys know what we think. Sergeant Creed wants to say another, please.
The first question I asked one of our SWAT team leaders when I was advised that I would be getting a brand new vest was if it was going to have Hardwire in it. I will not wear another vest without it. I mean it. I promise you.
Hey, since the leadership of Safariland's here, is it cool if we hook his son up with one too? One on the house? I think there's one on the house. High five.
Outstanding, outstanding. All right, I'm going to turn this back over to George. Before I do, Please understand from us at SAFARILAND, this is the best part of what we do. This is why we wake up in the morning. This is why we drive it hard every single day. Again, I have the best job. I get to go meet with these guys and tell them thanks for choosing us. Just like George said earlier, they have a big choice to make. There's some other products out there, but 2,164 times it's been us that brought those heroes home. We want to keep that going, and that's on you guys. We're going to share all those stories with you. I saw Brayton Chitwood's picture out there, an incredible family out of Clay County, Texas. So you got a handful of saves out there. You really do, and that's just going to grow. If you take a look at our save numbers, in that last few that have been announced, they're all Hardwire. You're doing good things, and you're doing it really, really well, and the law enforcement field's reacting to that. I'm going to bring George back up. There's one more thing to do.
You know, as I said earlier, every single person in this room has played a role, including Emily's dad, our statics professor, who got us through some of the qualification for the armor in the first place. Another person that's played a really instrumental role is our state senator, Mary Beth CAROZZA. Mary Beth, I'd like to have you up. She helps make the Eastern Shore the Eastern Shore.
Okay, first of all, this has to be one of the most moving, uplifting events I have ever attended in my public service. For those of you I have not been able to speak with yet, my name's Mary Beth CAROZZA, and I'm the state senator that represents the best Senate district in the entire state of Maryland. And one of the reasons that it is the best Senate district in the entire state of Maryland is due to Hardwire and their team. And let's hear it for this Hardwire team. Come on. Woo! This team is incredible, and we're a little raw here on the Eastern Shore because we have had a couple of our law enforcement officers brutally murdered. And so when we can come to an event today where we have saves, where we have law enforcement, and we're all one community, one country when it comes to our law enforcement, to be able to be here today and recognize that, I thought it was important that the state of Maryland honor these police officers, law enforcement. And so what I have today is an official Senate of Maryland citation for each one of the officers. And on this official Senate of Maryland citation, it's recognizing each one of the officers: Officer Donald MURDOCH, Officer Thomas Fitzpatrick, Sergeant Kevin T. Creed. And it reads, "In recognition of your years of dedicated service as a member of law enforcement, as demonstrated," and it's the date of the save, "in the line of duty, you faced life-threatening danger, and you were saved by Hardwire armor, making you," and it'll have the save number in the citation, "of those saved by SAFARILAND and Hardwire gear," and it's being presented today from a state of Maryland Senator, Mary Beth CAROZZA, to each one of these officers. And let's get on our feet for these officers again. And there's one last surprise, and they did not know I was going to do this, and they said this event is all about the officers, which it is, but this event is bigger than all of us. Because this event is what we are all about. Those of us who are in public service, those of us in public safety, those of us who are in the private sector supporting all of this. And these are my constituents. And I am so proud of the leadership of George and Emily Tunis. And Ellie, come on up here. And I wanted to recognize Hardwire in front of all of you. And so we do have an official Senate citation for you. And it reads, "Be it hereby known to all that sincerest appreciation is offered to George and Emily Tunis and Hardwire LLC in recognition of your over 22 years of dedicated service, providing innovative protection for members of the military, law enforcement, and anyone facing life-threatening danger. Our community is proud, and our nation is grateful. And I am presenting this, your friend, to you all, to my Hardwire family. Congratulations. God bless you all.
I'll wrap it up this way. I got a question just as I approached the stage today from one of the guys on the floor there. And he said, you know, how long were these guys hospitalized? How bad was it for them? Everything else. You guys do such a good job. I polled the three of these guys. Their average time in the hospital was about 3.5 hours. The on-armor hits did not do a ton of damage because of the work that you do. They were home with their families, you know, that same day of the event. A couple of them took some damage going down stairways. You know, those kind of things happen. Entry tools are heavy and tough. But the on-armor stuff, treated and released at home with their families that same day. That's how good a job you guys do. So phenomenal from us at SAFARILAND. We can't thank you enough. Todd Mackler was right.
All right, that actually concludes our ceremony. That was actually really fun. And I don't hope we get to do it again, but statistically speaking, it will happen again. So we're going to get better at this every single time, and we're going to make the armor lighter. I want more questions. Like, does this really work? You know it does. Oh, I do. You know, that's really the beauty of this place is it's good, but we can make it great.